Bernie Sanders is in the hospital. Blood clot or something. I mean, he is pretty old. It's a long life for a communist. He had to cancel some TV ads and some trips, though. He may be out of the presidential race. You can imagine my total lack of concern. With him out, though, a lot of the well-meaning yet brain-dead followers of Bernie could fly over to Tulsi Gabbard, which would be sweet. That would really mix things up. That's if Bernie would endorse her, which is unlikely. He'll go to the grave, literally, probably, trying to win. He's doing really well until he has to actually debate. That's when all his ideas would fall apart. When you put those economic wacky catastrophe, commie theories up against facts, they fall on their face. So, he may die, he may not. But hopefully he won't die, but he'll still get out of the race. If he has to croak to get out, so be it. That is the worst choice for president. Of all the bad choices, that's the worst one. Because you still get an imperialist foreign policy saying Assad must go, yada yada. Basically every single war Obama did, Bernie agreed with. Plus, things like 90% tax rates and just a whole bunch of, oh look, I promise you free stuff. He's the worst. And yet, his supporters are some of the most anti-war ones. It's odd. It's kind of it shows you how important branding is. Like, it's more important. I remember writing an article a long time ago called Barack Obama versus Brand Obama. Brand Obama was anti-war and all these great things and against torture and supported Palestine and all that. Real Obama was the exact opposite. And the same thing for Sanders. Like his image doesn't match his voting record or his rhetoric or anything he's ever done. But his followers are completely unaware of what his record even is. Like, do you know he supported the war in Libya? No, they didn't. Do you know he supported a coup in Ukraine and says Assad must go? And no, and it's excuse. And then you point out that his retarded domestic policies, and they actually agree with those because they can't see past, but I might get free stuff. So they just ignore how terribly stupid his ideas are. I'm all for lowering the cost of healthcare and education. The quickest way to do that is to get rid of the Department of Education. And I'm tired of explaining how bad the Department of Ed is because people just, they stop thinking right there. You want to get rid of the Department of Education? That means you hate education. Oh my gosh. You want to get rid of the EPA? That means you hate the environment. No. The Department of Ed was the third biggest profiteer, I think, after, was it Google and Apple? And then it was the Department of Ed. Why? Because they borrow at a very low interest rate and they loan it out to students at a higher interest rate and they make money in the spread. Billions they were making off that. And that has made college unaffordable for everyone. Giving everyone a loan doesn't make college available to all. It doesn't make it affordable. It's a loan. It drives up prices and it forces more people into debt, not less. They need to teach economics in middle school or high school so all these people graduating from high school wouldn't get in debt and wouldn't be in this situation. And they wouldn't be supporting Sanders' plan to raise taxes here and there to prop up an overpriced industry when you could ask, gee, why is it overpriced? Maybe we should get rid of government guaranteed loans and get rid of the Department of Education. Prices down, then you don't need a loan and you don't need new taxes. Have you ever thought about lowering costs instead of fishing around for how to pay for overpriced costs? Is your housing situation cost too much? What if your utilities cost less? If you deregulate, and allow market competition to get rid of all these monopolies. That you probably only have one cable company, you have like one or two phone providers, you have one electric company. You know, if that wasn't the case, it wouldn't be so expensive in the first place. They never look at how to lower the cost of living. They just look around like, let's just tax rich people more and redistribute it to the poor. That ain't gonna work because it's the government. They're not gonna redistribute it to the poor. They're gonna redistribute it to themselves, to Lockheed Martin, all the corporate oligarchs. B, rich people are just gonna move out of the country. Super rich, the super rich elite that you want to tax, they're just gonna not live here. Well, they might live here, not gonna live in the United States. Or they'll just put an office in Bermuda. But there's a million ways around that. All you're doing is you're gonna end up with nothing. You gotta lower taxes, you at least get some revenue. And Kennedy proved this, and Reagan proved this. Two of the icons of Democrats and Republicans. They had a lower tax rate, yet more tax revenue. Why? Because if you raise it too much, it becomes cost efficient to just move overseas, which is what they do. If it's low enough, picking up your business and going to another country isn't free. So no one wants to do that. But if the taxes are high enough and suddenly that option is now the cheaper option, that's exactly what they do. And then guess what? You don't get any tax revenue. None. Better half a loaf of bread than none. They're trying to get the full loaf, they end up with zilch. Because they don't understand basic economics. JFK had it right. Reagan had it right. And I'll tell you what, 90% is not even... There will be no big businesses in the U.S. if you tried to follow Sanders' plan. You'd have no tax revenue and you'd still be at war and wasting trillions of dollars on Israeli escapades. So he's out.